Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we have Kaden with us. We told you you'd be seeing more of him on Patreon. I think you already met the Patreon people.
I did, yep.
Well, maybe. We filmed one with him in it. Don't know if you've seen it yet. No, it was live.
It was live.
So yeah, you guys did see him. We cut eggs the other day live, and he was on there. So you guys have already kind of met him. But what I wanted to talk about today is Kaden just got one of, I think it's a rite of passage when you get into reptiles. He just got to cross one of those rites of passages off, right? And you got to go to your first ever Reptile Expo.
Yep.
So where were we? Let's get that groundwork laid, and then what we're going to do is kind of talk about his experience there. What I want you to take away from this, if you're watching, is one, maybe you've never been to a Reptile Expo before. This will kind of give you an idea of what to expect. Or two, maybe you've never vended, or you're thinking about vending, or you've vended a few times. Maybe you vend all the time. This will kind of tell you from a customer's perspective, and we didn't rehearse this, what to expect as a vendor. So you may hear some things that you're doing as a vendor. I may hear some things that I'm doing as a vendor that we can look to change to make ourselves better vendors to engage our customers more. So that's the point of what we're doing and what I want you guys to get out of this. Make sure cricket. Fuck it, I don't give a crap. Click like, click subscribe. Go check out the Patreon. All those good things. And we are going to be in Lincoln, Nebraska here very soon. So come see us in Lincoln on June 30th and purchase from us, because we're going to give half of our profits away. So whatever we do at the show, minus our expenses, which will be pretty low, we're going to take half of that and donate it to the Sunset Zoo in Manhattan, Kansas, to probably do some animal adoptions, things like that, as part of their species survival program. Somebody's like, no, species survival. What is species survival? Then we'll get to the video. It is simply when you have an AZA zoo that participates in controlled breeding of endangered animals to help that species survive in captivity and beyond for release. And Sunset Zoo is a participant in that, specifically breeding tigers currently, not like what we saw in Tiger King, okay? Actually doing it the right way. And also breeding mule leopards, which is one of the most endangered big cat in the world. So I'm really excited to see that. They're also breeding things like hyenas, believe it or not. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So that's what we're going to be donating to. All right, let's get on to it. And then on Patreon, we'll figure out a way to go a little more in depth for you guys on that and point out some things that you can certainly do as vendors to improve your situation. So First Reptile Show was in Kansas City, Missouri, right?
Yep.
It was a Show Me Reptile show. Kansas City currently has Show Me frequently and also Cold Blooded Exotic Show Free. I've been to both. Both are good shows. But this is Show Me. So that's what we're talking about here. So let's just start. Now, your first impression coming in the door would be different than the customer, because you came in with us, went right to the table to set up. It was before the thing was open,
right?
That sort of thing, right? So what was your first impression still walking into there? Was it what you expected, different, how?
It was definitely what I expected. Everyone was just getting everything set up until it eventually opened. I did go to the Kanza Reptile Expo.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I went to that one, but I was probably, I think I was maybe 9 or 10 at the time, so it's been a hot minute. But so I kind of have a customer standpoint and kind of a mix between the two, working with you guys. So what I noticed from the customer at the Kanza Expo was there was not just reptiles. There was everything. There was some fish, amphibians, there was snakes, there was everything. And you are not going to be the only person there that has questions. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. But first impressions were great. Everyone was super nice. Definitely would want to go back to that expo.
To KC or Kanza?
KC.
Okay.
Casey.
I'd like to go back to Kanza. You hear that, my buddy Dave? Get that Kanza shit fired back up. Let's go.
Yeah, the KC Expo was great. Everyone was extremely nice, and they wouldn't give you the cold shoulder if you had what you thought was a dumb question. And realistically, in reptiles or anything, there's no dumb questions.
No dumb questions, only dumb customers. No, I'm kidding. This is a joke.
But like I said, you are not going to be the only person there that has questions. So do ask questions, because if you're looking into getting something, then you definitely need to ask those questions. And if you are not looking for reptiles, still go, because I know at the KC show there was sugar gliders. Yep,
you were really impressed with those, I remember.
I love sugar gliders. My dad loves sugar gliders. They're amazing. And there was another gentleman there that had a mantis shrimp. He had stuff from little frogs, like that big, little tiny frogs, to a mantis shrimp. He had sea urchins, he had an octopus, and a horseshoe crab.
Yeah, horseshoe crab.
He had a horseshoe crab. And then, yeah, so if you want a horseshoe crab,
And that was actually the same vendor that when we had an octopus here that Caleb got the octopus.
Yeah.
From. Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah.
So plenty of varieties. Some other things over there, I saw toy vendors.
People there were lots of toys. So
at the 3D printed thing now, that's become a big
yes.
deal. I think probably every type of expo, but reptiles.
Especially. And there was one vendor that had something I thought was really cool.
What was that?
It had vents for like crested geckos. Mm-hmm. They were selling cresties, and they had these little 3D printed mesh things. And some of them were just the 3D printed mesh vent that would go on the side of the cage to help with humidity and ventilation. And then there were some that had fans in it, like little USB fans.
To keep airflow?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And that was really cool.
And crafts. There were some crafts there, I think.
Yeah, there was a gal with the octopus guy that was selling what I thought were homemade epoxy, like little bug novelty things. Yeah. She put a bug in there, cover it in epoxy, and is like a keychain or a necklace or something. That was really cool to see. And she also had crystals and stuff. So if that's what you like, then go check them out.
Speaking of which, I know what we'll tell Patreon members about. When we get to the Patreon portion, I'm going to tell you about the new thing we're going to be selling that's not alive at these reptile shows. And if you come up to me in Lincoln, we'll just give you one of them if you're a Patreon member.
I don't even know what they are.
You don't know. He doesn't know.
Some
shit I just came up with the other day.
Gatekeeping it, man?
I
How
know.
could you?
You do know? Maybe he knows. We'll figure it out. Figure it out. So anyway, but yeah, so you saw that. And then, so when you were walking around, we sent you around to walk. I told you, walk around as much as you want. Don't feel like you need to be at the table. I want you going out and seeing things.
I made probably 5 or 6 laps around the whole thing and stopped and looked at everything that was there.
So, did vendors engage you?
Oh, yeah. There might have been 1 or 2 that didn't, and that was because they were simply doing other things.
Okay.
But every person that wasn't busy was like, hey, what can I help you with? If you got questions, ask, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. And there was one, it was the octopus guy, actually. We probably talked for 15, 20 minutes because he knew so much about it.
He does.
It was crazy. He was rapping off, like, their scientific names, and I was like, octopus, He's a really nice guy to talk to, but even like the snake people, I think, was it SAAK Exotics? SAC Exotics?
I don't know where you were. You were around by yourself. We were running the table. Man, we were making cash. We sent you out to do that.
Oh, he came by the table. I think he did.
Okay. But I don't know which table he was from. Because there's a lot of different vendors there.
Yeah, he was, like, here with this. He was over here by the...
Okay.
So, there's, I'm just going to call it SAC Exotics. He had a boa constrictor, and he had a few ball pythons, and I've never had any interactions with a boa, and so we sat and talked, and I asked if I could handle it, and he said, yeah, sure, and we sat there and talked about the boa and requirements to keep one, and...
We'll get you some experience with big boa eventually. They're at Kurt's place, so...
Oh, okay.
We have some of that,
Sweet.
too, for you. Yeah!
So, yeah, no, everybody was super nice, and everyone was engaging.
Good.
And like I said, if there wasn't someone that was engaging, it was either because they were helping someone else, or they were setting something up, or cleaning, or doing something else.
That's awesome, because it used to be a lot of times you could make a path through and people wouldn't even get up, half of them. 50% would get up and try to talk to you. 50% would sit on their ass with their face in their phone and not do a thing. And then they would bitch later about, well, I don't know why I had a bad show.
Right.
I can tell you.
I wonder why.
Yeah, you're sitting there on your, like, looking in your phone. Like, that's why you had a bad show. So what was your favorite animal you saw at the show, barring what was on our table? He was a bad customer because we just sent him home with his first snake for helping us out and helping out around here since he's getting into it. So he wasn't really... But what was your favorite animal you saw at the table? Not like at another table.
It's definitely between the giant retic that they had.
There was a very massive lavender albino
retic
retic there.
And the sugar gliders.
And that albino retic was a super great price, actually. I hope it found a new home.
I think it was only $600.
I think it was something like that.
$600-700 only.
I think
and it was a
less than that, actually.
8-9 foot retic.
Bigger than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I have really bad judgment on that.
It was looped into that box a lot.
That's
it was
true.
Friendly. It was a sweetheart. I played with it a little bit.
I had to help the guy get it back into the box because it did not want to go back in the box.
No.
And he could not do that one-handed because those things are they are incredibly strong.
Retic, and they move a lot.
They do.
They are not a very calm snake. They can be a very nice snake, but they're just kind of, they want to go explore. When I say they're not calm. I'm not trying to say they're bad, they just move a lot. So the retic and the sugar gliders are probably your favorite. What was the thing that you were the most surprised to see there?
The amount of crested geckos.
Yeah, there was a lot of cresties.
There was a giant portion of the middle of this entire venue with maybe 4 or 5 tables, 3 or 4-ish tables, filled with crested geckos. There wasn't a spot bigger than a few square inches that didn't have a crested gecko tub, and each tub had 1 or 2 in it.
Yeah, I saw some that had buy all 3 with little babies
so
in the
many
tub.
crested geckos.
I think there was actually more crested geckos than ball pythons.
Oh, 100%.
And that's honestly the first time we've seen that.
And I expected to see crested geckos because they're incredibly popular. They're a great beginner reptile. Geckos in general are great beginner reptiles if you're getting into it. But I did not expect to see the magnitude of crested geckoage that there was.
Okay. So a lot of crested geckos. That kind of took you for a loop. Is there anything that you thought you would see there, but you didn't see? Like, man, I figured I'd find this, but it wasn't there.
Definitely some of the bigger snakes.
Yeah.
Like more reticulated Burmese anaconda. Like, I know at Kanza there was 1 or 2 anacondas.
I think, those were probably ours. I think I saw one berm, but I don't know if it was for sale. It was large too.
I think I know which one you're talking about, and I think it had NFS on it.
And then there was the retic, the big retic, but I don't recall, doesn't mean I decided to walk around as much as you did, seeing any baby berms or baby retics. Did you see any young berms or young retics?
I think there was unless they weren't retics, there was some young ones next to that albino retic.
Okay, so one spot.
And there was 2 of them, and they were, I don't know, they were yay big.
Oh, so they're pretty good size, well started already. So no babies though.
No babies. Adolescent, we'll call it.
Okay. Kurt, did you see any baby berms or retics when you were running around?
I saw it wasn't a baby, but the cow retic.
Yeah, there was a cow retic there. That was just starting
cool.
to get some coloration.
That one was cool.
So some of the things you guys can take away from that is if you are dabbling in retics or you have retics, they ain't there. If you're dabbling in berms or have berms, they ain't there. So you can go and you can really kind of kill it with something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, retics are never going to move as high of a volume as ball pythons will at the show, but if there's 10 people selling ball pythons and they all bring 30 ball pythons each, so there's 300 ball pythons, and you're the only guy with retics and you bring 15, who's going to do better? You know what I mean? So something to think about on some of those we talk about. It's nice to have some other species with you. This is kind of why we talk about that. Mm-hmm. So saw that. Is there anything else that you just thought, I can't believe I'm not? So there's a few animals I didn't see. Maybe I just didn't see them.
What were you thinking you'd see?
Did you see any bearded dragons?
No, actually, that's another thing. No beardies.
Did you see any leopard geckos?
Yes.
So there was one table, wasn't there?
There was 2.
2 tables?
Because there was the one that had the standard morphs, and then the cheap side of leopard geckos, and there was like the blood morphs and some of the darker stuff and the harder stuff to get.
So tons of cresties, a little bit of leopards, no beardies.
No beardies.
Not a single bearded dragon, and that is different from what it would have been 5 or 10 years ago.
I know at Kanza there was dragon, leopard. There was so many lizards.
Well, it's because everything takes this meteoric rise and then has a fall to an extent. The only thing that's been really consistent since I've been in the hobby has been ball pythons because of just the size for snakes. But leopard geckos used to have their moment in the sun, then bearded dragons were king, and then cresties were king, and it kind of cycles back and forth because they're all a really good size and they're all really fairly easy to keep. So they all have that niche. They're all kind of like ball pythons of the lizard world, where monitors would be more like your berms and retics.
Yeah.
I didn't see any monitors there either. Speaking of that.
Yeah, I don't.
No savannas, no Niles, no nothing.
Nothing. Because is the market for those pretty big right now, or are they kind of with the leopard geckos and stuff? They had their peak. Because I remember when they were super popular, and they just kind of.
So monitors are still going to be popular because there's always going to be less people selling them. So it's kind of, we just talked about, if you're that one guy with retics.
The supply and demand.
Right? If you're that one guy with monitors, you're going to move some monitors. The problem with monitors is not everybody's capable of keeping most in savannas. Most people can handle if they
because it's not like a bearded dragon. It's not.
Yeah.
It's there. They get.
I mean, we had a water monitor at the shop, and we owned part of it that was big. He'd climb up you. I mean, he may make you bleed with his claws on accident, climbing up to get his dinner.
I vividly remember that.
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool.
You guys also had the anaconda too. Kind of missed that one too.
We got a couple anacondas. I wish we still had one, but it's all right. Speaking of anaconda, that was a funny story. The guy that sold us that anaconda, we met at the show.
Oh?
Yeah, he came to the table we were talking to.
Really?
Yeah, and he found out. we kind of knew the same people because he knew Colin and sold it to Colin. And so anyway, long story short, we got to talk about his old anaconda and where it ended up. So that's kind of cool, which is still in a facility, still breeding.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty neat. So what was your, as a customer, if you were going to tell somebody that's never been to a reptile show, likes reptiles, where would you put this on, like a 0, which means you can fucking don't worry about it, you should never go again, it's like the crappiest thing ever, to 10 absolute must go, you need to get to a reptile show?
Well,
where would you rate a reptile show at in general?
Am I rating this reptile show or reptile shows as a whole?
Well, you don't have a whole lot of experience in them, so you only got 2. So reptile shows in general, but they're going to be about this size.
It
for you.
really depends on what you want, as we talked about before. If you wanted a bearded dragon, don't bother. If you wanted a retic, you could gamble because there were some pretty great prices on that kind of stuff. And if you wanted a ball python, I'd say go get it.
Yeah, Cresties, obviously.
And Cresties too, yeah.
What if you don't know what you want?
I'd 7 or 8.
7 or 8? Okay. We need to get this boy to Daytona sometime. That would be a 10 out of 10 would do again. So Kansas City, too, just so you're aware, that's not a really big show as far as number of vendors go. If you were to go to a place like Tinley Park or Daytona Beach, you could take that room we were in and you could easily, I mean easily, times it by 8.
Holy crap.
And you probably still aren't covering it.
It's a lot of reptiles.
It's amazing. And then you'll have, and the larger the show tends to be the more variety you have too. I didn't see any green tree pythons at this either.
Oh yeah, I didn't see any of those either. That was,
and those kind of things are kind of hit and miss. I for me, I always tell kids, man, go to a show. I had a guy I could have sold a snake to the other day who lives in, and I'm like, man, if your kids want something, so really what you need to do is you need to go to a show, get the thing they really want. Make sure you get the equipment, all of this, because that's going to be the most important thing. I am a firm believer that getting out there and physically seeing it, talking to multiple people will get you on the right path, which is also why I wanted you to go out and meet people, because, as you continue in your reptile journey, we're going to try to teach you a whole lot, right? But everything that I'm going to teach you is going to be from my perspective, and Kurt's going to teach you from his perspective, and Caleb is going to teach you from his perspective, and all 3 of ours are pretty similar but a little bit different because we're individuals. But I also want you meeting and learning from other people, so you get different perspectives and different thought processes, and you can put your own shit together, so you're not just carbon copy of the 3 of us. You know what I mean?
And backtrack real quick.
Sure.
Another thing I didn't expect to see there was tarantulas.
Oh yeah,
there was tarantulas there. Those were cool, and they had everything you needed to set them up too. They had hides, the enclosures, the actual spiders. So if you like tarantulas,
it's funny, we call it a reptile show, but truth be told, there's a lot of bugs there.
Sugar gliders, and horseshoe crabs, and
tarantulas are a staple at almost all reptile shows. I don't think I've been to one in a long time that didn't have at least one table selling spiders. Around here, you see a lot of 8th Element. They're a big vendor here selling spiders. There's others too. That was the first one that popped into my brain. But it's pretty common to see spiders of all kinds. As a matter of fact, last time to show, one of the things that came home with us was spiders. Oh. Not for me. Caleb's into those damn things.
Oh.
So yes, very much so. He wanted to get into spiders, and I got enough shit. So
I owned a pretty decent sized jumping spider. That's about where I draw the line.
I think there were some jumpers there.
I don't remember seeing any. I only remember seeing just the tarantulas.
I may be confusing that with OKC, because OKC I know had some jumping, so maybe just remembering there. And OKC had about 4 or 5 dedicated spider vendors.
Oh wow!
So the last 2 shows, this is new for you. This is normal, but for us this is new, right? I think at Oklahoma City there were probably more spiders than ball pythons, and here there was more crested geckos than ball pythons.
Oklahoma also has native tarantulas too.
Oh, it wasn't native shit there. It was all bred.
Oh,
like you're talking about little slings and things like that, and some, it was, like Mexican red knees and skeleton knees.
Okay, I figured it was gonna be more native stuff. That's might be why there were so many more there.
No, the Texas brown or Oklahoma brown, probably I didn't see. I mean, there may have been 1 or 2 of those, I'm sure, but everything. I mean, out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of spiders that were there, it was all just different breeds. And
cool.
There was some. I can't remember the name of all the damn spiders, but there were some really cool ones there. So, Kurt, any questions that you have about his experience at a show that would help people watching?
Nope.
Nothing at all?
Nope, nothing.
Anything that you'd want to tell somebody who's going to a show for their first time before we go?
Even if you're not looking to get something, go anyway, because you might see something that you like that you didn't know you liked.
That's true. Plus, it's just fun.
It is fun to go around and talk to people and see whatever thing's there, because hell, there was chameleons too. There was a chameleon.
I saw a chameleon, just one. So I kind of got my eyes on that because I'd like to get another chameleon at some point, but I just saw the one. And it was a nice chameleon. It was an adult female veiled, which I don't want. I want a well-started but not a full-grown adult.
Right.
And I damn sure don't want a female. I want a male. So.
But no, even if you're not looking to buy, go anyway, because it's extremely fun, and like I said, you might find something you didn't know you liked.
Okay, also, as a customer walking through there, because that's what you spent half your day as, what advice would you give to vendors that were there? Something that you saw that you think, man, or something that one vendor may have done that you're like, man, more people should do this. Like, what are some things that you can tell people to up their game as a vendor from a customer standpoint? From a brand new bitch walking there wet behind the ears at First Reptile Show as a close to an adult. I say close to an adult because we can't quite vote yet. We damn sure can't buy beer, but that means we got a DD later built in. So anyway, go ahead.
Funny. You know, there wasn't really a whole lot. I thought everybody was really nice. There wasn't really a whole lot that they could have done better. Everyone was really good.
Anything display-wise, lighting-wise, how the animals out, something that you saw, it was like, bang.
The geckos could use more lighting, because I've seen, like, even at pet shops and stuff, they have good lighting, especially for their harder-to-find morphs of leopard geckos.
Okay.
They definitely need the lighting.
So you could tell a difference in the reptile table that had lighting shining down versus ones that didn't.
And it's not just using like aspen or shavings on ball pythons, because I know there was some vendors that just use straight either coconut fiber to like pine shavings. And I know we had different colors.
Purple and white.
Depending if it was a lighter.
It's not like I like K-State or anything.
Right. For the darker snakes, we had white bedding, and for the lighter snakes, we had darker bedding to really make their colors pop with the light itself. So more people could definitely do that than just aspen or coconut fiber or shavings. I
know one guy, you'll see him at a show. He wasn't at this one, and I hesitate to say his name in case I'm mixing two people up on what they do, but I'm pretty sure I know which one it is. If it is, I'll definitely try. I like him. He's an awesome dude if it is, I think. And Kurt, if you remember it, let me know so you get the name right. They use orange, like, shelf liner in their tubs. And I looked at that and thought, damn, Kurt likes orange, so it made me think of that. It's his favorite color. And then on top, I promise we are not an old gay couple. I do happen to know his favorite color, though.
Bless you, Finn.
But it made those snakes, whether they were light or dark, pop, because orange is just a color we don't have very often in ball pythons. So everything on there just stuck out, right? I've also seen mirrors done.
Mirrors?
And I thought that was cool. Yeah. Or I've seen like little silver rocks.
The mirrors, especially on like ball pythons, if they're a little wanting to get jiggy with it, it might piss them off a little bit if that's a
I don't
thing.
seem to care much. But I thought the orange was really good. I like what we do, but I thought, man, a certain color like that, lime green, I think I've seen before too, maybe, but lime green would be a good one. Something that's super contrasting when it's light or dark. We could, but for us, it has to kind of match your theme of colors. So if we did it, we would do purple, white, shelf
right.
liner.
And there were even some people that asked, like vendors even asked what bedding we were using. There was a couple.
Ours, yeah, we did have one. This is just Carefresh from the old Petco, So lighting on a table make. What about the big signs in the back? Did that catch your attention? Does that make a difference?
Especially. Oh crap! I don't remember the vendor, but they had a right and proper billboard. It was right as you walk into the right.
But you don't remember the vendor?
I don't remember the name of the
vendor. Thing worked great, didn't it? Sorry.
It was a right and proper billboard. If you went and look at, I think, a Reptile I Am, Steve's.
Yeah.
If you go look at his B-rolls and stuff, you'll see the billboard.
Gotcha.
It was huge.
So which is more important?
It was the Celtic. Whatever.
Oh, Celtic balls? Celtic balls are friends of ours. They're awesome. So yeah.
I think that's who it was.
They did have a big sign. Do you think it's more important to have that big sign or lighting? Which one would you say is more important?
Man, I think both are equally as important, but I think I'd
rather
rather
get a big sign, Kurt.
I thought ours was pretty cool.
We don't have a big sign. Well, we had as a front sign.
Yeah.
We have a nice tablecloth to get that sign. That was what we kind of went with because it packs up easier.
If you have a big sign, definitely your presentation could also be expected to be a little better. If you're like, hey guys, I'm over here, trying to stand out a little more. You don't want people to go, oh look, they've got a big sign. Their presentation must be really good, and then not have a good presentation. So I think they're equally as important.
So if you have the sign, you better have the damn lights. Is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Got you. Okay. All right, well, guys, I think that is all I've got. Again, just some thoughts from somebody who's going to like just get into it, right? That's going to be the nice thing, because one of the things I really miss on this channel, and this is one of the things I'm excited about you being around, by the way, is when we first started this channel, it was almost, God, it was 2015, maybe 16, somewhere in there. We were brand new at breeding. It was all fitting into one little spare bedroom in my house, and it wasn't all the way filled before it got filled up. And you got to come with us on our journey from the very beginning. And then after time goes and you have more experiences, we don't have that same relationship to people who are just starting out. And I miss that, because that's the story I want to share, is the beginning, middle, and end, with it being kind of raw as to what we do. So having somebody brand new, we get to share that aspect of what it's like to be brand new in this hobby, seeing things for the first time.
Right.
So that is going to be pretty exciting. You got to cut eggs for the first time. How was that?
That was pretty cool to see.
We did pretty good, can't lie.
Hopefully, I really were hoping we were going to get that true ghost.
We did not. I'll show you the babies. They're all out here now.
Oh, cool.
All right, Craig, you want to add? Okay, anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right, y'all, that's all I got. See y'all next time.